for the Super Heavyweight Championship of the Universe, God versus Science. Round 1. In the beginning, God played an active role in the cosmos. After creating it, each and every verse, and especially our life upon the Earth, which planet is supposedly only a few thousand years old, or so it has been told. God won this round, hands down. For even those holy science clowns who were around at the time thought that mankind was prime, being the special center of creation, and that the sun and the stars in elation revolved around his holy nation, the earth fixed and under a dome. And furthermore, that evil spirits caused physical ills, along with all of our mental slips, as aggravated by life's frills, which were all called sins, with blame that still came from within. Even fun was one of sin's evil cousins, in the Bible made from old Jewish legends. Thankfully, those hundreds of odd gods who had come to reign before God were crushed, as by Jehovah trod. Round 2. God came out quick, now claiming the writ that he guided the earth safe through its orbit around the now centered sun in space. For by now the earth's motion around the sun was known to be true to nearly everyone. Newton demolished this notion with his laws of motion. God thus no longer ruled nature's course, for the world was free to run its course. From Isaac laws and revelations, there is a mote in space known as Earth, a pale blue dot of fluff orbiting a hearth. Due to Newton's laws, there's no spirit help. None. No godly hand guiding it safe around the sun. God's vanishing had now really begun. The heavens and the earth were one. Stars and galaxies just went on puffing, and we became the center of nothing. God was losing his definition in stone as his sworn traits disappeared one by one. So he's retreated to higher ground, that is, outside of space, time, and all that exists. Round 3. So then God claimed to appear to us only in spiritual thoughts and ideas, thus still being responsible as our Savior from badness put in human behavior. This metaphor was then found to be unnecessary as the source of human character non-contrarily. Yet some still clung to the lifeline ropes of his intervention with their hopes, although some claimed that he did not involve himself or be in our daily operations and pleas. So God no longer intercedes in causes, except in some nebulous cures and becauses, as being safe from harm or improving one's ears, but he never heals amputees or appears. For the latest is that he must stay hidden, even if the miracles of his Son bidden were very much out in the open to see. Better that no one know of him clearly. So there is faith, a blind trust in the unknown. Accept him or be tortured. Or has this too, the word of God, become inoperable? Only the supernatural realm remains. Round 4. God was still yet seen to intervene dear, saving lives here and there in the natural world's reality, but two striking planes from the sky, ever adjusting and smoothing the operations of natural law, expressing his inscrutable purpose. However, scientific knowledge, cosmology, fundamental physics, chemistry, biology, anthropology, and psychology were wont to undermine religious views on every front. God was losing his strength to be, for science loomed large, quite ponderously. Religious knowledge without proof, that which professes absolute truth, now fails and fades, an impossibility, while science, which professes fallibility, succeeds and grows stronger daily. There were still those strange myths. Why is the Old Testament out of the pew in many churches in favor of the New? Genesis turned out wrong. Was it divine revelation or not? Do God's fits not become a good role model? God made Adam fully formed, without a navel. But now, an asterisk on page 1 of the Philippine Catholic Bible says, no, do not take it literally, it's just not so. Round 5. With God in full retreat, it was yet thought that at least he had instilled or wrought a spiritual essence in us, willed whole that which was called the soul. What vanity to claim such full self-importance, to demand so much from the universe. That one would claim an angelic vapor that drives a living being, provides character, morality, and consciousness, on top of a burdensome, fragile, and expensive organ such as a brain not needing to be used. Science collapsed the idea of the elan vital when the synthesis of substance began. Life's magic was of electrochemicals, yet it was still said that God made all the kinds, albeit strangely full of the problematic signs of such an unintelligent design, for how else could it all have been consigned? Darwin told us how natural selection explained the mysteries of evolution and of the variety of life covering creation, extending from animals to us, a continuum, now even seen to go back to a bacterium. We were no longer special at all, as such, differing from chimps by not very much. The discovery of genetics later on collaborated it all in our genome. So because of evolution's record-written God's Bible was no longer seen as written in plain text for the common man, but now must open to symbolical interpretation. Thus, now he just is, the same as the universe, and yet this would be a kind of curse, for this state would be quite restrictive, not to mention the mere tautology of a universe, a cosmos, and an entity being one and the same pose, such as a rose is a rose is a rose. Since the above cannot be, he's now become just a deity, leaving us all on our own lives to own, the same as the non-reliance that is seen by science. Now we're fully sentient, but a planned, random accident. Aye, the truth of what now we are is, we're not made direct by a whiz to take a quiz, but as mammal, organic of speciation, one passing narcissism and self-adulation, onto the bioelectrochemical organism evolved upon a planet near a star, risen of and in the long and winding mindless way. Round 6. More devastating blows landed raw. Einstein's theories extending Newton's laws to the very large universal scales with trust, while quantum mechanics brought us next to the reach of the very tiniest of objects. There being no place left for soul subjects, God was nowhere to be seen, having vacated the arena. Yes, science has found that the universe operates just as it would without him, that evil spirits don't lead to bad health, that brain imbalances can lead to sins. Devil, hell, the Bible, intercession, etc. are all gone now. He is undefinable, protected from the knowing, safe, away. Round 7. Confirmations were everywhere hatched, since scientific laws must ever match and predict the facts of what it mimics, for example, of the quantum mechanic. Although QM's basis seems counterintuitive, it always works out just perfectly, for we employ and depend on it in every way on tech products based on it every day. Science ever goes on to astronomical heights. The first supernova since 1572 appeared in some small galaxies nearby, a few called the Magellanic Clouds too. Though its radiation began a while back, we saw it alight upon us in the now, the immense quantities of energy of a mighty star-stuffed maelstrom. A Chilean astronomical technician, some bloke, stepped outside, perhaps to have a smoke, and being observant spotted its yoke. Ah, he, a mere human standing around out under the dark starry sky aground, detected it upon this lucky time. For the large telescopes only take in the shine of the sky in small sections at a time. He went in and told of such unexpected, that a large burst of never-detected neutrinos was now to be expected. The astrophysicists called their colleagues. Come on, you all. Answer, please, those deep beneath the Earth's surface in the United States, Japan, and Europe. And then said, look in your tanks. In revelry, you have already made a great discovery. They were right on the dime this time. Each of the observatories had detected the signs of a few tens of neutrinos at about the same time. Consider the magnitude of this achievement, for they had tested all of what physics meant. They had predicted the events that go on in a star's death throes by using theories from nearly every part of physics: special and general relativity, quantum mechanics, fluid mechanics, thermodynamics, nuclear physics, atomic physics, and elementary particles. If any of these theories had in error flailed, the prediction of the neutrinos would have failed. Thus, the laws of nature that are known to us on Earth every day must have the same thrust hundreds of thousands of light years away, and also the same back in the day when that star had exploded so, hundreds of thousands of years ago. God had been pushed completely out of the ring. Round 8, the knockout, the 3-degree blackbody radiation was found, the CMBR. It comes to us from all around. Non-uniformities in the radiation were found at last, those that formed the galaxies of the past. The QM realm has been proved of late to be a fundamentally fuzzy state, virtual plus and minus states popping out at any old rate. That is, there are no real causes, for there are no hidden becauses. This realm is not quite a nothing, but a near nothing. Of the waverings, not some infinite regress of something. Virtual particles may take the helm or cancel back into the QM realm. If nothingness were exactly zero, not fizzy, then this vacuum would not be vague and fuzzy. Thus, an absolute nothing cannot exist to be, for its very definition means that it cannot be, as then it could not even be there at all in reality. So there is ever the quantum jitter. There was only this ability forever. Oftentimes the QM virtual particles really spring into existence and vanish quickly, although they can interact and remain truly. If not, they have to vanish so quickly that one cannot account for their reality. If we could see them, then the QM possibility would not be the vacuum fuzzy energy. But if they were not there as something, the vacuum would be exactly nothing. And so this certain definite school would violate the vague and fuzzy rule. None of these happenings are invisibly lame, such as those of the supernatural claim. For the fuzzy wavering has many effects that we can compute and detect. So, is there no cause, no purpose unthunked? Does this make us go into a deep dark funk? No, for it is our glory that we are free to be, the making of life being our responsibility. Now God was gone, having been counted out, having never been, whether within or without. The eternal, causeless ground state could have never had any create. For there could be nothing prior such as that which is known as a creator. Terrorists still go to war in his name. It's all going astray. Their notion fails. If I knew where the great figment stays, I'd question its mysterious, insane ways. What then is left of this vanishing phantom? More features than I've listed have fallen. The extraordinary superstition's kiss remains as but a shadow of a wish. We are left with a great silence. A person mind can't be fundamental. Simple leads to complex, this elemental. The natural, cosmic, and bioevolution were way too slow for a god to have done. Beyond the natural isn't seen, no super. Evolution is true. Blame it for problems. Genesis is wrong. No divine inspiration. The world is and has been monstrous. Near extinctions happened 5 times over. Why would God destroy his precious vessels? God had wiped out creatures extinct, not only occasionally, but repeatedly, which made us think him not only careless, but having an outright hostile distinction. There had been many more than the biblical Noachian deluge extinction. One's will follows what one's repertoire has become. One is not responsible for what one has become. Human nature is not likely to have been intended to be what it is. It is as it has become. If lower life has to come from a higher life, then the next higher life has to come from an even higher life, etc. The golden template self-destructs.